Sutton is still coming along, but Greg, just how has he been looking so far during the spring?
Man, Greg is looking really, really, really special right now, to be honest with you. So Greg is doing a fantastic job, and it really just started with his approach just to the off season. You know, trying to work on leaning up a little bit, gaining a little bit more muscle, a little bit more size, and not that so much that he weighs more, but obviously his body's starting to look different. And that's obviously having a full off season, being able to lift with us. Because last season, I mean, he came in really in the summertime, so he missed that development period with us. So just being able to be in the offense now for a little while, for a little bit now, and starting to gain that experience to where now he's able to play just confident, right? Just because now he knows what he's doing. So not only knowing the signals, but knowing who the line's blocking to and why we're doing certain things, and the way we're going to use him. Greg's man, he's killing it right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much did that help him last year? When he was healthy,
hmm
to be in that number two role. Like, how much did last year help him for this year outside of the injury?
I definitely think number one is just getting used to the way we do things around here, and because like I said, when he missed, part of that off season, it was just like, hey, he's the new guy, and it's like, how is he going to fit, right? And like I told all the running backs when I first came in, really, it was going to take us a while to where we start to get used to each other, we start to trust each other, we start to get used to, hey, we know that there's high expectations in this room, but really, what's our standard, and what's not only mine, but just our standard, because this is a two-way street, not a one-way street, because we're in this together. So having an opportunity now to where Greg was getting used to, okay, this is the way I expect things, but we expect things to be done. And now you saw those last few games, he was kind of able just to really come out of his shell and do some special things. And I know he did that in the Florida State game, and then he got hurt. And then it took him a little bit to get going, and then he just exploded onto the scene. And it's exciting watching him, So just really where that running back room is going, and knowing that Sutton's coming back. Makari's doing a fantastic job. I mean, Makari's killing it right now too. And just knowing that, hey, we got to have a few guys, obviously, to perform well for us.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about McCarr. You usually got like Brandon Thomas, who was your tough yardage guy.
Yes.
He looks like he has that similar build to play that similar role. Just
Yeah.
I guess how exciting is it for you to have the Sutton Smiths and the Greg DeRozier's, but also have a body for
Well, when you have more than two guys and you have three, four guys, that helps. It makes it makes me sleep a little bit easier. But knowing that you have a guy that can run behind his pads, and one thing Makari had to learn even from last year is just how to really just run with that forward lean, but also violent knee drive as well too. And he's doing that so far in spring. So seeing his growth, his development, and really it feels like he's an old guy in the room because he came last spring. So he's been here for a full year, a little over a full year now. So in the way he's matured, and if you didn't know any better, you would have thought he's been here for 3 years, 3 to 4 years, and shoot, he's only been here just a little over a year. So I'm excited where the running back room is right now.
Now, the spring, when you're in the season, right, and you're game planning for the weekend's game, how much different is what you're able to do in the spring and then getting that individual work with them and kind of honing on those skills we were just talking
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, spring is used to really, really emphasize the fundamentals of football, especially at our position. And when you're in the season, you really want to, obviously focus a little bit on, okay, what's the game plan and what's the technique to execute these plays, at a high level. So you'll focus a little bit more, maybe an individual or maybe walk through, okay, like, hey, let's work on this play versus, hey, I'm just trying to get you in a great stance, make sure you have a great first step, great footwork, great aiming points, make sure your eyes are right, and do all those things. And now you really want to build those habits now to where, hey, they're going to be disciplined on the things that we need them to do so we can be successful.
Rashad, he's in a similar position that you were kind of talking about as Greg is coming in and being new. Just how has he taken to the offense and everything?
Well, just really focusing on really just the whole group, just to be honest, kind of moving just for the whole group. It's exciting to see everyone do what we really need to do, to be honest with you. So, but I'm really, really excited right now about, Greg and, like I said, Sutton and Makari and using those guys. And it's an exciting time. But really the whole group right now, I'll be honest, they really have come together and they're doing some special things.
and the coaching staff has talked about Sutton mentally, just although he's still coming back physically, but just being all in mentally, how he's handled coming back from his injury. Just how have you seen him be a leader in the room in that way?
Well, just really just grow and giving him the keys to, hey, you know what? Listen, you and Greg. I mean, this is your ship. I mean, you guys got to steer this thing. You guys got to just take the bull by the horns and like, what do you guys want? If you really want to be successful, it's got to come from you guys. You guys got to be the ones that speak up. You guys got to be the ones that, no, this is what we're going to do. This is what we discuss in meetings. This is the standard of our offense and the standard of our football team. We sit up in meetings. We take great notes. We do all those things. And just really just allowing him and saying, hey, man, like, you need to be that leader. And allowing him, because, last year it was really about, okay, like, who's going to be the guy, after Blake left, right? And now they're trying to figure it out because it was a few guys, and he really wasn't quite, we weren't really sure if he was going to be able to stand, in that role, really, and take that role on. And then he did and unfortunately got injured. But now, to be honest with you, just him and Greg both, to be honest with you, have done a tremendous job just being leaders, and they're way more vocal than they ever have been, which is a good thing.
Did that happen organically, or did you have to push them, or did they kind of take care of it?
I think, one thing that they discussed is they wanted to be, definitely a better leader, and they wanted to know how do they do that. And number one, I said, well, number one, leadership is influence, right? So if you're going to influence someone, like, how do you need to do that? It can't just be by you running through the line and leading by example. Like, you got to be able to pull a young guy aside and say, this is the way we do things. Whether that's you're creating some juice in the weight room, creating juice in the meeting room, you're asking great questions and doing all those things and showing those guys, and then sit there when there's a guy who might not know anything, you look back at him like you need to know that. That's important. So it's happening organically, but at the same time, definitely you got to help these guys lead and put them in a great space and a safe space to lead.